Hello and welcome to Explain the Charts. Today is June 1st, 2025, and we're breaking down ETHUSD, combining the latest news with in-depth chart analysis. We'll be looking at daily, hourly, and 15-minute charts. First, let's recap some current events. Ethereum's been in the news lately, with a few big stories making waves. Cointelegraph reported Ether confirming a bull flag pattern, potentially signaling more upside. Sharplink Gaming plans to raise $1 billion to buy ETH, showing strong institutional interest. But there are also cautionary voices, as Glassnode notes that buyers of recent spot Ether ETFs are seeing unrealized losses. Now let's dive into the charts and see how these events might be reflected in the price action. Okay, let's start with the daily chart. We can see a period of significant volatility followed by a recent consolidation. Looking back to late February and early March of 2024, we see ETHUSD rising sharply before a large sell-off in mid-March. Then a recovery starts in late March, but ultimately falls again around April and May. Then in mid-May of 2024, we see the beginnings of a dramatic increase in ETHUSD, to the current price of around $3,750. Zooming in on the more recent price action, we see what might be a period of consolidation, with support seemingly around the $3,700 to $3,750 level. However, the last few candles are showing a slight downtrend, so it could be important to watch those levels for a potential breakdown. As the news indicates that there may be accumulation by institutional entities, this could provide buying pressure to keep the price moving upwards, or at least holding support at these levels. Now, let's switch to the 1-hour chart for a closer look at intraday movements. We can see choppiness here, typical of shorter time frames. On the 1-hour chart, we can see that ETH has tested support and appears to be on the upswing. Pay close attention to price action around these key levels. A sustained break above $3,800 could signal further bullish momentum, aligning with the bullish news from Sharplink Gaming and Cointelegraph. However, a breakdown below the $3,700 level would warrant caution, potentially indicating a bearish reversal as the unrealized losses from ETF buyers could apply downward pressure. As well, if Bitcoin sells off, this would likely cause ETH to fall too. Finally, let's examine the 15-minute chart for even finer detail. Here, we observe short-term fluctuations and volatility. The 15-minute chart looks fairly bullish. In summary, we have key levels to watch, support around $3,700 and resistance near $3,800. A break of either level will likely dictate the next short-term trend. The longer-term forecast will depend on factors influencing those on the daily chart, but may see a target price of $6,700 by the end of 2025, or a potential drop to $2,500 depending on which factors are stronger. With Ethereum ETFs launching, the upside is likely but still very prone to volatility. Keep an eye on news developments regarding institutional investments and regulatory changes, as they can significantly impact the price. Thanks for watching Explain the Charts.